Meet Deborah Senior, CEO of her own clothing company, mother of 4, loving wife, author of dramatic autobiography, If You Don't Like the Feeling, Why Go There? Her autobiography invites people to embark on a real-life story that you will never forget. This is her story.
There was a man named Mr. Simon who lived in my neighborhood. He was very respected amongst the grown-ups. And it seemed like he was well liked by most of the kids on my block too. But some of them didn't like him. Some of the kids called him a child molester. He and my mother spoke to each other when they saw one another in passing. He had a habit of winking at me when she wasn't looking. I felt his wink was a way of letting me know that he had a good relationship with my mother. Some girls and boys told me that Mr. Simon took kids up on the roof and touched them on their private parts. I didn't know for certain because I never saw him, but I soon found out that the rumors might have been true. Whenever a child would allow him to touch them, he paid them with money and ice cream. Later on, that's how I found out who was letting him touch them. The kids who had a lot of money all of a sudden, but didn't want to say where they got the money from, or the kids he all of a sudden started buying ice cream for. Most times when the ice cream truck came by, Mr. Simon bought ice cream for certain kids that I hung out with, except me. Before I knew one of the reasons why he was buying some kids ice cream, I would cry to my friend because my feelings were hurt. Most of the time, she shared her ice cream cone with me. But one day, when I was begging her for some more, she asked me if I could keep a secret. She said she wasn't supposed to tell anyone, and I said, I won't tell. And then I crossed my heart and hoped to die if I did tell. She told me that she knew of a way for me to get my own ice cream cone from Mr. Simon. She said if I went up on the roof with him and let him touch me, he would buy me a cone. She also told me how it all started with him touching her. One day, he caught her stealing candy from the corner store and threatened to tell her parents if she didn't come up to the roof with him. She said she was scared, but she was more afraid of what her mother would do if she found out she was stealing. All he does is touch me, she said. You could tell she didn't like it. And when I asked her where he touched her, she wouldn't say. But I instinctively knew where and became horrified of Mr. Simon. I believe the main reason why none of the kids told their parents about Mr. Simon was because he was very chummy with all the parents. Plus, he had negative tales about the kids that he said he would use against them. Many of them probably believed their parents would believe him over them, so they fell into his trap. The first time he approached me, he asked me if he can get a feel. He reached over to touch my arm. I backed away. I shouted, no, and ran home. I wasn't worried about him telling my mother anything since I knew he didn't have any bad information about me. It's not like I didn't do anything bad, but I was very careful. I didn't steal anything in my neighborhood stores. It was way too close to home. So no one on my block knew I stole stuff. I didn't go to school with the kids in my neighborhood. I went to school in my aunt's neighborhood, which was 9 blocks away. Mr. Simon pursued me many times after that. And my response was always the same: no. One day, when there were no kids outside for me to play with, I started playing a ball game by myself. My ball fell down the stairs, and out of nowhere, Mr. Simon reached it before I did. He was acting really mean towards me and wouldn't give me my ball. Mr. Simon told me it was my very last chance to go on the rooftop with him. He said he was through playing games with me. I said no and walked away towards my hallway. He really frightened me when he started walking behind me. He said that he was going to tell my mother that he saw me on the roof with some big boys touching me all over if I didn't go on the roof with him. To show him I wasn't afraid, I laughed and ran inside. Mr. Simon threw the ball into my hallway and said, "I'll get the last laugh." And then he left. I didn't understand what his comment meant. A part of me felt like I had nothing to worry about. The other part of me was scared. I didn't think he would make up a lie to get me in trouble, but I did think he would grab me and do what he wanted with me. And who was gonna believe me if he did? And that's why I was scared. I felt all alone with no one to turn to. My mother was quick to believe anything someone except myself told her about me. Maybe this time would be different, I told myself. That afternoon, I struggled with what I would tell her when she approached me with the lie that Mr. Simon said he would tell her. I thought about going to her first, but then I realized I didn't know how to approach her on the topic of sex or Mr. Simon. I then decided not to say anything and trust that everything would work itself out as long as I stayed away from Mr. Simon. Later that day, my mother came home while I was in the kitchen. My name is Deborah Senior, and I'm the author of the book, If You Don't Like the Feeling, Why Go There? If you liked watching this video dramatization, which was taken from one of the chapters in my book, you will love reading this book. You can order your copy or find out more information by going to www.whygothere.org. And please subscribe to my video channel, check me out on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, leave me your comments. Video will be posted every Monday, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to comment and ask questions. You can find out more by looking at the description box below. And I want you to keep this in mind. If you don't like the feeling, why go there? It's more than just my book title. It's a real question that I would like for you to consider.